Coming up here on Celtics Today by Chat Sports, we now have round 2 of the NBA draft, which is actually on day 2. I don't know how I feel about this still, knowing that day 1, round 1, took nearly 4 hours of production time. So now I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen for the Boston Celtics with pick number 54 in round 2 of the NBA draft. Keep in mind, all teams now have 4 minutes to decide who they want to pick in between picks while they're on the clock. They used to only have 2 minutes when the NBA draft was just 1 day. So I want to see what Brad Stevens has cooking up for pick number 54, if he's going to draft somebody, if he's going to trade somebody. He did just draft pick number 30, Baylor Scheierman, from Creighton. So he did end up taking somebody in pick 30, which I thought he was going to end up trading. So what does Stevens have in plan here for pick number 54? Here are top 3 targets for the Boston Celtics with that late second round draft pick. Let's go on ahead and talk about the big guy that we have been looking at well before round 2 came. I'm actually pretty surprised Kyle Filipowski fell to the second round. Will he fall to pick number 54? I highly doubt that. But here is what the Boston Celtics could get if he does end up going to number 54. I mean, never say never. I didn't think he'd be in the second round of the NBA draft. But this is a guy out of New York, a sophomore, 20 years old, 6'10". He weighs 230 pounds. And the scouting report from our very own Nick Roloff here says that offensively, he's very talented. He can score at all 3 levels. I know that Smitty's bad is definitely going to be labeled as a bad defender here. He's been saying that repeatedly, and when Smitty says it, I mean, it's got to be true. But he is a capable playmaker, makes the right reads when given the ball as a playmaking hub, and he has athletic limitations, will limit his defensive ceiling and rim protection abilities. That's where Smitty is really going to hone in there on. People want to compare him to possibly being an Al Horford replacement, but Smitty doesn't like that because he doesn't play defense the way Al Horford does. But here's what Kevin O'Connor and The Ringer had to say about Kyle Filipowski's type of play if he were to come to the Boston Celtics here with pick number 54. And obviously, Kevin O'Connor, he's got the holy grail here. So whatever he puts in the ringer, I'm probably going to take a grain of salt with it. So fluid ball handler, capable of running actions like a guard or a wing. Whether it's pick and rolls or handoffs as the receiving player, he can attack out of the actions in a straight line or fluidly, use crossovers and spin moves, projects as a reliable three-point shooter because of his soft touch. And I know right there, Smith, I mean, alarms are going off in Joe Mazzulla's head because he is a reliable three-point shooter with a smooth motion. But you have reserves about this big man.
Yeah, I mean, I think his three-point shooting actually might be a little bit overrated. He was honestly just an average three-point shooter, in my opinion, at Duke. And honestly, guys, like a little insight here, I watched a lot of Duke basketball in my life, and Filipowski is somebody who I've followed very closely. He's from around where I grew up, and he's a cone on defense. You get him outside the three-point line, any capable ball handler will be able to take him off the dribble and then break down the defense. He is a smart player, though. When the scouting report came about him making the right reads and stuff, I buy into that. I think he's a very smart player in that regard. But a lot of weight was put on his shoulders at Duke to kind of carry the load of that offense. I'm curious to see what his role will be in the NBA, whether it's a 4 or a 5. I doubt he can really bang down low with good paint-protecting centers. So yeah, I'm curious to see what kind of pro that he projects to be as, and 30 NBA teams passed on him last night in the first round.
With that being said, what do you think Brad Stevens is going to do with pick number 54? I thought he was going to trade number 30. He ended up drafting Baylor with that pick. So go ahead and let me know what you guys think in that beautiful big brain Brad Stevens, number 54, type T for trade, type D for draft. The second prospect here that could possibly fall to late in the second round here, I'm going to be looking at Antonio Reeves, the guard out of Kentucky. This is going to be your knockdown shooter. He's mainly really catching eyes here for his offensive talent. He's got a great float game. He's a catch-and-shoot threat, which Brad Stevens and Joe Mazzulla love the catch-and-shoot type of guy. He's 6'4", which has got a good build here for a guard, right there about Derek White's height. But he is 187 pounds. Would love to see that hit 200 by the NBA, maybe with some muscle or something going on. But the kid from Chicago, he's got a skilled mid-range shooter, and whether he's dribbling into pull-ups or tossing up a soft floater from as deep as the free throw line. So it's telling me he's going to be a shifty handler here. And this is what the Ringer has to say on his negatives when it comes to Antonio Reeves. I mean, he averaged 20.2 points per game, 44.7 3-point percent, and then he's got 4.2 rebounds and 1.6 assists per game as well. But his negatives, you always got to look at the negatives. So he is actually going to comment on the weight here. His lean frame is a severe limitation for him on defense, which, like I said, 187, I don't think that's really going to cut it here. But he also says he gets overpowered by stronger guards. Well, the Boston Celtics will knock that out immediately with two stronger guards and Derek White and Drew Holiday. He gets a couple of reps with them. He's not going to get bullied no more. He's going to hit the weight room right after that. But Antonio Reeves could also be a player I could see falling in the 30s. In this second round here. So we'll have to wait and see if he does fall to number 54 here for the Boston Celtics. And then coming in with another round 2 draft target, I'm going to go with PJ Hall, the big out of Clemson. I watched a little bit of PJ Hall here with March Madness. I don't watch a lot of college basketball through the regular season, but I know my man Smitty does. But when you're looking at this man, he is big, 6'8". He weighs 240 pounds. He's got the hustle. He's got a feel for the game. He's got that dog in him, and he's a good off-ball mover. Here's the scouting report coming from Nick Roloff. He's an older prospect. He is 22 and a half, but a polished offensive big with strong footwork and a sneaky athlete. And I like that sneaky athlete there because I think that's what Horford and Porzingis are as well. And I'm looking at a guy like PJ Hall. We already know that Brad Stevens got that wing depth with Baylor Scheierman. But now you could possibly add on to that big depth with Horford and now with Porzingis not going to be ready till possibly December in this regular season. 3-point numbers aren't great, as he did shoot about 31.5 from downtown, which that can get better. That can get better, but he's not a good defender. And he's too small for the 5, being 6'8". I mean, he's smaller than Jason Tatum here. So he's definitely going to be a work in progress. Probably would see some time in Maine with Jordan Walsh and some other players. But the Ringers, Kevin O'Connor, here's what he had to say. He's an elite screener who sets fundamental picks at different angles to spring shooters open. And I really would enjoy that to have for Tatum or a Brown or a White or a Holiday to really move off that pick and roll screen in order to be able to have that open shot. Maybe even a Sam Hauser as well. Though he's made only 32.6% of his threes, he has soft touch from the mid-range and the line. It'd be surprising that number doesn't go up. So it sounds like his ceiling is still pretty high up, where he just needs that NBA coaching style and possibly the Boston Celtics workouts and routines to really start to develop that defense fundamentals and really find out where he strides on offense, Smith.
Yeah, PJ Hall shot 37% from the three-point line in his 2022-2023 season.
So he's got the skill set to be there.
Yeah. He did take a little bit more on the volume side. He attempted more threes in 23-24, so his percentages did go down. And he was kind of keyed in on as Clemson's go-to guy on offense, right? Yeah. And then you get to the defensive end of his game. The problem I have with PJ Hall is that he's really not disciplined. He got into a lot of foul trouble at Clemson, and he just wasn't a disciplined defender. Likes getting caught up in the air, leaving his feet a lot. But he is that prototypical stretch big. Only standing 6'8", though, it's just tough for me to conceptualize that he's going to be defending bigs at a high level, and he's going to be kind of similar to Filipowski in that regard, is that he's going to be taken off the dribble by quick ball handling forwards, and he won't be able to bang down low with big physical centers. But he does have a big frame, so I am confident in his ability to absorb contact like that, but I just don't know how effective he's going to be overall with his frame sitting at 6'8".
No, but still being 240 pounds, 6'8". I mean, Al Horford's 6'9". Same with Jason Tatum, and they can play the 5 pretty effectively. But I do see, I mean, that inch could definitely make a difference in terms of whether his vertical is standing at, what he looks like as a rim protector. So I could see the step back here with 6'8", and maybe even possibly using him at that number 4 spot, and Scheierman kind of handling more so the 3 in terms of depth chart. But
no doubt about it. Underrated playmaker as well.
There you go. I mean, give him to Missoula, man. Give him to Missoula. He'll have him watching UFC fights and animals hunting on Animal Planet and the town several times. And he's going to have a dog. He's probably going to grow an inch once he comes to the Boston Celtics. So,
fair enough.
All right, with that being said, name a player you want the Boston Celtics to draft in round 2. We will be live today at 3 o'clock p.m., 3 o'clock p.m. I hate myself. Or 3:30. We haven't really decided when we're going live yet. 3 or 3:30. Just be at Celtics Today by Chat Sports for the latest on round 2. If you guys got a lunch break, if you guys got nothing going on your Thursday afternoon, come join us. And as always, hit that sub button for me.